everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Casual Movie Club. And my name is John, and with me is nobody, interestingly enough. Brian had something come up at the last minute, so we weren't able to get an episode in together this week. But I had a cool idea that I thought I would share with you guys. And for those of you that are waiting for our episode on Batman from 1966, don't you worry. That is coming next, right after this one. So this is a little something special, a little something we're kind of calling a mini-sode. So I'm not going to be doing any numbers, because that just wouldn't be cool without Brian here, because, you know, arguing back and forth about why the music and sound should not be higher, that should always be done with Brian here. So to those of you that are waiting for Brian to come back, he will be back next week. So that being said, I had an idea that I wanted to share with you guys, and that is 3 Stephen King miniseries that were on TV from the late 90s that I think you should definitely check out. So in the kind of mid to late 90s, there were a few really good made-for-TV movies, and there's another one I'm going to talk about probably on another one of these little minisodes that's not Stephen King, but you know, I want to talk about 3 Stephen King miniseries that you should definitely check out. Now, some of these are pretty long, so I don't know if we're going to ever get to cover them on future episodes of the Casual Movie Club, but if you guys would like to see us cover one of these, by all means, reach out to us, let us know. We'll be glad to put that in for you. And before I forget, let's talk about how you can reach out to us. So you can get to us on Twitter and Instagram at Casual Movie Club. You can also send us an email, casualmovieclub@hotmail.com. And you can also send us a text message or give us a call at area code... Where's that number? Here we go. 402-882-2742. Once again, the number is 402-882-2742. And if you want to tune in to us, you can do so on many different platforms, which are all visible at the bottom of our website, casualmovieclub.com. And you can click on the links for things like the Apple Podcasts app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and we've even got our episodes up on YouTube as well. So definitely feel free to check us out on all those different platforms, and also feel free to encourage your friends and family and those that you know. If you like what you hear on our podcast, please feel free to invite them along, because all are welcome in the Casual Movie Club. So without further ado, let's jump in. And these are going to be in no specific order. I'm actually going to go in chronological order. So I love all 3 of these that I want to talk about. So, you know, I couldn't possibly figure out which one would be, you know, first place, second place. So these are going to be in chronological order based on when they came out. So the first one I want to talk about is from 1994, called The Stand. Now, this was a I think it was 6-part miniseries, and it actually won 2 Primetime Emmys. The general gist of it, because I don't want to give too much away, it's basically the battle between good and evil, and that's a very, very, very general description, but the acting in it is fantastic. There's some you know, big name stars in there. Gary Sinise, Molly Ringwald are in there, so there's definitely some incredible acting in there. It won 2 Primetime Emmys, actually, and it also won some other awards as well, and I'm just kind of getting that information off of IMDb here. Got a 7.2 out of 10 rating as well, so definitely came in higher than what most made-for-TV movies come in at, so really highly recommend that. Check out The Stand. It's a great series to watch if you have a lot of time at home. You know, for example, if you're out sick from work, this is a great series to watch. I mean, it's 6 hours long, so it's going to take up most of your day anyway. You know, and there's some parts of it that drag a little bit, but it really isn't bad, because the quality of everything it just keeps you on your toes. It's very, very well done. And what I really like about it, too, is it doesn't feel like a made-for-TV movie. It feels like it could have been out in the theaters, but it was just on network TV. So that's called The Stand. It's a multi-part series. Oh, I'm sorry. There's 4 episodes. And they've broken them down into 4 different sections. So The Plague, The Dreams, The Betrayal, and The Stand. The Plague being the first episode with the highest rating, and then the Stand, the last one, seems to have a lower rating, but That's kind of where everything kind of comes together and such. So I'm surprised it had a lower rating. But anyway, check that out. It's called The Stand. Came out in 1994. So moving up, next year, 1995, I would say if I did have to put them in order, this would be my favorite. It's called The Langille Ears. And there are there are some really funny things about this. And I think I'm going to talk to Brian about doing an episode of this. It's a 3-hour movie, though. So we may have to finagle something about maybe starting earlier or something. But this is a great movie. It basically is it's a mystery that just starts right out from the very beginning. Really, no waste of time getting into the story. And there's some good actors in here as well. What is his name? David Morse, who was in. He's one of those guys where when you see him, you'd recognize him. He plays the captain or the pilot. But he was in he was in The Negotiator. He usually plays like a cop or some kind of a really strong personality figure in a lot of the movies that he's in. But he's in this. Frankie Faison is in this. Also, Belky Bartokomous himself, Bronson Pinchot, is in this movie as well. And interestingly enough, he plays an asshole in this movie, which is awesome. It's something very unusual because when I think of Bronson Pinchot, I think of his character Serge in when he was in the Beverly Hills Cop movies. I think of him as Belky Bartokomous and the little kind of lovable, naive, immigrant from Mypos. So I don't ever think of him in this prick fashion. So it's interesting to see him play that role, but he nails it. So, and this one is definitely a made-for-TV movie. This one feels a little more like a made-for-TV movie. The special effects leave some things to be desired. And again, these are things that I think we should definitely cover on an episode. So I'm hoping we're going to get The Langille Ears in for its own episode, but that is definitely one I highly recommend. So that's from 1995, The Langille Ears. This one was nominated for a Primetime Emmy, didn't win anything, and had 2 other award nominations as well. So this one didn't pull in any awards, but definitely worth watching for sure. And the third one I want to mention is one that I don't know if anyone's heard of. It's certainly something I didn't know about it when it came out. And real quick, Langille Ears got a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 24,305 reviews. So ranked a little bit lower than The Stand, but still higher than 5. So it's worth a watch for sure. The third and final one, again in no specific order, is called Storm of the Century. This one came out in 1999, so a couple of years after The Langille Ears. And basic gist of this one, a blizzard hits a little tiny island in New England. And there's also some random guy that shows up and wreaks havoc, I'll just say. But not in a bloodthirst? What the hell does that mean? Bloodthirst and gore thing. It's not like that. But it kind of is a little bit. So I highly recommend this one. This one did win a Primetime Emmy. And this one has some people you may have heard of. I'm just kind of skimming the list here. I know that from Wings, Tim Daly is in this. He plays the constable or the cop on the island here. And there's a few other people that I've heard of. I'm just trying to find them in the list of the people that are in there. But everything in here is incredible. Acting wise is great. I think the storyline is great as well. And it's certainly one of those movies that leaves you thinking, and it leaves you thinking about a lot of things when it's over. And I'm not going to spoil anything because it's really, really worth a watch. This one is 4 hours and 17 minutes. So another movie that you kind of need to devote some time to it, but there's a few episodes as well. Because it was done on TV, so there's 3 different episodes. You can kind of break it apart. It was released originally in February of 1999, so I definitely recommend checking that out. And being that Stephen King was from kind of the Northeast, a lot of the things he writes, or a lot of the movies and scripts and stuff and books that he writes, take place in kind of snowy climates or areas kind of similar to that, like Misery, for example. I think it takes place in Maine or Vermont or something, but it's you see that a lot. You see that a lot in what he does. So this is a really, really great movie. So highly, highly recommend it. So these are 3 little TV miniseries that I think you should definitely check out, and they were they're movie length, so we can we can fit him into the Casual Movie Club. But The Stand from 1994, The Langille Ears from 1995, and Storm of the Century from 1999. So that's going to wrap this up. We're not going to do numbers here just because Brian's not here. It just would not be right. So I'm going to leave those recommendations with you guys. Thanks so much for taking a listen and being a part of the Casual Movie Club. And we will see you next time with a review and coverage of Batman from 1966. Have a good one.